Thank you. Pledge of allegiance. Christie, would you lead the pledge?
Yes. I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic
which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a motion to approve the agenda, which is the budget. And, Mr. Hobbs, second. All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? Nobody opposes. Motion carries. And basically the budget requiring attention. And John, you got it, or are you gonna turn it over to Monica?
Go ahead, Mr. Evans.
Okay, so basically, the county commission budget committee, I guess it was, sent back with a recommendation. They took the $137,938 that we had requested in property tax and divided it between property tax and local option sales tax. What they did was, per the request of Commissioner Nash, was to round the property tax to an even number of pennies, up to 58 cents, which gave a property tax increase from the prior year budgeted amount of $57,769. They moved the remaining difference of that into local option sales tax estimate, given $80,169, leaving the maintenance of effort per their discussion that we requested at the amount we requested, but moving it between current property tax and local option sales tax. Is that a good synopsis?
Yes, and they did that unanimously,
Yes.
14-0.
And they did approve 143, by the way, so that's why it is not.
Cafeteria,
Of course.
lunchroom, right.
Entertain a motion to approve the 141 as presented.
Make a motion to approve the budget as amended.
Mr. Hobbs made motion to approve. Need a second?
I second it.
Christie, second. Any discussion? Yes. I have a conflict of interest to the proposed 2024 budget about to be voted on because of my brother and niece employed with the Aiken County School System. However, I declare that my argument, my vote answer only to my conscience, my obligation to my constituents and the citizens this board represents. I have an obligation to the citizens in my district to not place a seen or projected burden on them. I believe this budget will place on us a path recurring expenses that will deplete our general fund to an unacceptable level within the next 3 years, a path we have not taken in the past. This budget has neglected our long-range plans to maintain our infrastructure. Our property taxes are higher than any of the counties that surround us, except Dixon County, which is less than a penny difference. My constituents do not want anything in the budget that might increase their property taxes and place any other further burden on them. Since our student population has decreased by almost 200 students this year alone, it makes no sense to increase our spending. These were preliminary projections for TISA that were provided in March of 2024. It looks like the funding formula requires $3,786,341, but the county provides $5,843,687. There's a difference of $2,057,346. The county commission does have the ability to reduce MOE if there is a drop in enrollment. However, if there is no decrease next year, this option may not be used. There has been a 213 reduction of students since April 23 to April of 24. This loss would equal $775 according to the TISA base statement times 213 students of 1.5 million revenues that we could have had but don't, and is a 7% reduction in student attendance for the current student population of roughly 292,926 students. I urge you to vote no on this budget. This budget needs more work and thoughtful consideration by the board. Thank you. Anybody else have anything to say?
What, you're talking about this current year, the 213 is down, right? But you're in now, and so it doesn't affect.
Since April of last,
That's what I'm saying.
not this year.
But the TISA's in a year in arrears, right? So
TISA's it.
so that will affect next year's budget.
TISA document that
Yeah,
affects this year's.
well,
The TISA funding document is based upon what I just sent you today,
okay.
that we were not given.
Actually, the March estimate was provided in the discussion during I believe it was the March board meeting, it may have been the April board meeting, because that was our original estimate for TISA. We had an increase in TISA in the April estimate that when you voted on the one that we sent to the commission had the increased April estimate in TISA. In the budget that was from the April, but the original document, I believe, was provided at one of the board meetings.
This March 25th TISA preliminary estimates from the state and State Department has got considerable data in it. It also says that that data can change as the end of the year is finalized.
Correct.
But the statement I read is based upon, this piece of document as it stands.
That
Which
was the
was the
March
least-
estimate.
Yeah.
We received an April estimate that increased the TISA amount to, the estimate that is in the current proposal that you all approved at the April.
This is the last data that we were fed as an official document that came from Governor Lee and the State Department.
No, because I beg to differ with you on that because we communicated the TISA amount that we put in to the budget that you approved and said it was from the April estimate that we had received.
You're saying Governor Lee's document is wrong.
No, I'm saying we have an April Governor's Lee estimate and we will have a May estimate and the April number is what's in the budget.
Is there $7,075 that are listed on there expected for each student?
$7,075
If you, okay,
with a state funding,
it,
local or state estimate excluding post-secondary tests of $24,228, $24,228,617.74, which is in the TISA line item right there of the budget that you all approved and sent to the county commission.
What I'm saying is the 213, you know, if I'm wrong, but the 213 that we're on this year.
April of 23,
The
no,
term-
from April of 23 to April of this year, or till current.
Right, and that would be the TISA amount for next budget.
No,
Right.
for this budget, this is the funding document.
Right, well, we
for this budget.
presented to the county commission that we was down 60.
That was from 22, we're
Right.
down 60 from,
Right.
22, from 20, sorry.
Yeah.
Uh,
The year before, the 22, 20.
yeah,
Yes,
yes, yes.
and so then now we're found out we're
So we're
230.
down 200 this time, so
Yeah.
that'll be next year's impact.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
This budget impact.
Next year.
Next year's
This,
budget.
this is for this year's budget, this coming up budget, 25
Well,
impact.
that's not, okay, I'm confused.
Yeah, let me think through this.
Well,
Do you have, this one here says, as of March 20, do you have this document that you can make a copy and give us?
Yes, I also have the April one. That is the newest estimate, and we will have an updated estimate.
Well, that's why I say the April one, I got the March,
So you,
which wasn't provided to
so
us.
you're thinking there's gonna be more money withdrawn from, because we lost students this year in what we're voting on now?
No, this is what they're giving us. I'm just saying, there's an increase, in the budget for tire taxes.
Do you have the April?
It's not going,
That's what she's making copies of it right now.
Yeah,
not going to get the funding.
in we were in a budget committee meeting and we got it to $2.9 million.
Right.
And then the board voted to, try to reduce it to 2.5,
Right.
2.5 million. And during that next week, we got new TISA estimates. How much money, how much more was it?
It was roughly, I don't have it.
It was
with me right now, it was
roughly-
roughly 108 or 128,000, somewhere around in there.
Yeah, so we got new estimates and then we found some more opportunities and, we closed it down, to 2.5.
How many students does your March or April one reflect?
She has taken it from me.
Oh,
I
okay.
do not have it right now.
Well,
Here's the
even-
thing, we still got May to go through and June to go through
Uh-huh.
before we end up at the end of June. And It changed.
The actual final will come in July.
Always
And
does.
it will be more than likely higher, cause as our teachers, like on the SPED side, finish up all their documentation, they get sped in to the TISA document. The original, what we budgeted last year versus what we're receiving in TISA for this current fiscal year, because that actual amount came in July, is different than what the budgeted amount was approved at. That'll be the same thing that happens here. But what we included for you all, and we did communicate that, was the change in the April estimate. And we highlighted that because at the time that we received it, we highlighted that we had put that amount in there as we were trying to get,
I think it was 128,000.
it was somewhere. I can give you an exact amount here shortly.
Well, regardless of, whether it's 60 or 213, whatever, if you take 213 kids, that's approximately, we have, 8 schools?
Mm-hmm.
It's about 25, maybe a little bit more per school. You divide that between however many grades we have 3 or 4 grades, you're looking at 8 to 10 kids per grade.
Mhm.
That you're, even at 213 that you've lost. That still doesn't change the fact that we still, that doesn't change the amount of electricity it takes to use the building. That doesn't, or any of the, the cafeteria, the workers, the fact that you've got to be at $50,000 for new teachers in 2 years. I mean, yes, it's a large amount of kids, but we still have 8 buildings to keep up and, 8 kids in each grade financially. I mean, you still got, per classroom, you may have 20 instead of 22. I mean, you still have to have a teacher for that classroom, so.
And then, yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Right.
As Dr. Nash said years ago when I was on the county commission and afterwards, and he said it many times, that we have to treat a lot of this like a business. You got money coming in, money flowing out, and we need extra money. And so I look at it that way. And
I mean, what's changed since the?
So we sit here.
What changed, what gets you the most concerned?
I think you voted no, last
I
time.
voted no the last time under the same circumstances.
Right. Here's the deal. Everything in the whole place has gone up. There's not a thing that hasn't gone up. We can't buy 3 buses because we can only buy 1. They went up how much? $30,000, $40,000?
Yeah.
So somebody's got to have paid for that.
And with all of the buses that have sat, in some cases, they've sat there for a year before they've been activated. And it's not, John didn't do that. But we bought the buses and they sat there. And then, so you get a bus in, you let it sit, you're losing 1 year of usage because of the time limit that you can only use that bus. And so, I'm not saying anything about the buses. You need to know the miles, and I understand they changed the routes. But
How many buses we got sitting around doing nothing?
Oh, we got 10 subs, but they leave every day.
so if the subs use the bus, the other people don't. So there's mileage being saved there in that sense.
Let's get to a vote.
There's a question that's put forward. There's no other discussion. Then we will vote. Roll call vote, please. Allow me to vote first.
Sir?
Allow me to vote first. That's my option.
Jeez.
Mr. Gann?
No.
Mr. Hobbs?
Yeah, because employed, I have a family that's employed in the county school system. I have conflicts of interest in the proposal not to be controlled. However, I was clear that my argument and my vote answer only to my constituents and to my obligation to Digits out to the citizens of the board. I vote yes.
Mr. Lane,
Yes.
Ms. Mays,
Yes.
Ms. Baker,
I've had this before. I'll say it again. I can't vote in good conscience to raise people's taxes. I agree that we need to give the teachers and staff raises, but I can't vote increasing the cents. So I'm voting no.
tally is 3 yea, 2 nay.
Motion doesn't carry. Anybody like to change their vote? No change in vote. Budget's not passed.
Any idea when we're gonna sit up and talk about this again? That's what we're gonna tell them. Well, look it down
What's our next meeting date?
when the county wants it.
They
Whatever.
would have liked it tonight,
They want it tonight.
but
Somebody like to go over and tell them it's not.
I'm
we'll
not going
text them. We already set that up to text them on the board's decision.
If they went along with it, what we presented to them, and the first time in 20-something years that they went along with it for me,
Unanimously.
without having to go back and forth 3 times.
But see, they don't have to worry about, and of course, we've already voted on it, but they don't have to worry about in 2 or 3 years with the dipping into the reserve funds of getting to the point that, we would be in the dire straits. I may not be here. The only one that's may be here for sure is Tim in 3 years.
Sharon, can I ask Ms. Baker, so if we, give back to you struggling with that, we gotta,
Right, I would totally.
you vote for it,
I would
if we give that back.
If we didn't touch that.
Yeah, if we're not touching any taxes, property taxes, I would go for it.
We kicked enough back to them over the years, 11 cents and something.
Yeah.
And we've struggled, and we've been lucky. We have built up, but it's going away, and I understand that, but you've got to keep up with the times. It's like when you go back, yes, wow, gas is high this week, they may be down next week. That's not everything else. Everything else is on straight up.
Well, and let me tell you, Mr. Mullins gave them a penny back last year.
2.
2 pennies back.
And those 2 pennies were worth more than they are this year.
Yeah.
But
So-
they made it up in sales tax last year.
Yeah.
So
Sales tax is.
We get
going to
half,
come
though.
In at what it comes in. It is not a giving
Right.
to us.
They didn't give us that.
That is
That's what
not a budgeted amount. They do not, it's budgeted for maintenance of effort, but they do not set how much sales tax we get. If you budget it at 2.5 million and it comes in at 3 million, that's
Still
what you
get it.
get. If you budget it at 2.9 million and it comes in, it's still gonna come in at 3 million, whatever it's gonna come in at. What they decide does not control the amount of money that we receive from sales tax. It's always 50% of all the sales tax, local option, that is collected in the county and in the city. It's not a budgeted number that we can change except for maintenance of effort.
correct.
But it doesn't impact how much we will get in sales tax.
They just kind of moved the estimate over there, it's what they did, right?
It
With the-
does.
Yeah, they moved the
They-
maintenance of effort portion over there, which is fine,
Right,
but it's not, it's,
they didn't give us nothing
when
here,
you
they,
budget
you know,
property tax, we will get whatever they budget.
Right.
We budget at 92 or 93%. They budget us at 92 or 93% of 100% collection of property tax for the school, whatever that penny is. So if you lower property tax, that's a hard number that you're not going to get. The moving of sales tax is a maintenance of effort issue. It does not control the amount of sales tax that you will get. You will get half of the sales tax that is collected by the county regardless of what the budget number is. That will not change. That's state law. And again, I've sat in their seat, not on the county side, but I understand that maintenance of effort and using sales tax in relation to that. But it is not giving us more dollars. The people spending on sales tax is what, or on purchasing and purchasing locally is what gives us more dollars on the sales tax side, or less dollars. They have no control from a budget standpoint of what those dollars will
And if we
be.
go in-
They do on policy side, but not on.
And if we go in a recession and purchasing goes down, I mean, sales tax could very well.
They still have to meet the maintenance of effort amount
Not
though.
sales tax.
On the budget side, they have to meet the maintenance of that.
Yeah, but Ron just explained, that with the decrease in the, students, they can take it down.
They could, and or they could make us consolidate schools if it got low enough.
Well, yeah, but I was there the other night for the meeting and with the county commission and Director Mullins spoke and he fielded all our questions and and they're really concerned about this grading of our schools.
Me too.
And that's what they were really, it was unanimous. They were concerned. That's a different group of folks. And I know almost all of them. And to get all of them, they were all together as far as, wanting that grade, the grade of our schools to come up. And I think that's why I think they're supporting this. I really do. And, from what I saw tonight. I don't know, what do you feel like, Mr. Hoffman?
I felt the same thing. It was shocking to me.
It was me, it was like, it really, compared to last year, it was my second time to be there. It seemed like they were really concerned about that letter grade of our school. Especially one of the schools we talked about was at the bottom 5%.
Yes.
And that was, and several of the commissioners from the East Hickman commissioners were very concerned, I think because that school was in East. And they were very concerned about that school and they was asked about that and so.
I do not answer to the county commissioners. I answer to my constituents
Right.
out there that,
Understand.
and that's, there's several reached out to me and says no more, but anything that might cause a property tax increase.
Well, we're looking at.
But I don't see how, go ahead.
One big percent in how much they're wanting to raise it. And actually, when you get down to some of the stuff that they're talking about, spending, there's two things you need to do. Educate or fund education and safety. That's two most important things. If we don't do that, we're doing something wrong.
From what I understand from talking to, they're gonna have to increase property
Yes,
tax.
they're gonna have to.
Everybody that I've talked to, it's coming. And if you have to, what better way to spend it than on your schools?
Exactly.
Especially our schools.
But I don't see this budget impacting property taxes this year. Now, next year, it may be, what we're saying now about these 213 students, I think next year's budget is going to have to be a hard look, but I don't see this budget.
It's a 1% is what Giannakis wrote.
May,
Well, yeah.
may I speak?
This is go ahead, John.
Hickman County is limited in the number of commercial and industrial properties. It's my understanding that commercial and industrial properties pay more than residential properties. And when it comes to assessments. So we're limited. So the burden falls upon the residential taxpayer in Hickman County, more so than other counties. If you go to Dixon and see all the commercial properties they have compared, we just don't have that many commercial properties. So that creates a hardship. It creates a hardship for Hickman County. We were receiving 56.6 cents from the county. And Commissioner Nash made a statement that he wanted to get out of portions of pennies, that there really is no such thing as a portion of penny. And he moved us to 58. He made a motion, and that motion passed unanimously. For every, for a $200,000 property, it's going to increase the taxes $8. Which if you divide that over 12 months, it's going to create a 66 cents burden on somebody owning a $200,000 property. I understand not wanting to increase taxes, and I also understand this. This is a difficult budget year. We have talked about this for several months. We have declining enrollment. ESSER funds are expiring. It has been a difficult budget year. Next year, because the loss of students, will be difficult again. But we have done the best we could to follow the direction of the board and create a budget that we felt like would be effective, efficient, and equitable. We're going to have less teachers next year. I mean, we're going to have less employees next year. So it's not like we haven't tried to respond to the situation. And as far as I've been very transparent, we cannot continue to sustain transportation by buying one bus a year. But fortunately, a few years ago, we got a grant to buy 13 propane buses, and we got 50% off on all those buses. We're not going to be able to have a capital projects budget as low as the one we have, but we just finished several years of having great amounts of ESSER money, and we have done tremendous amount of capital project work in the school district. So I understand all the concerns, but we did receive, to update you, we voted 3-2 to approve the budget. And so we're having after discussion on that. 3-2 is not, it takes 4 votes.
3-2.
3-2 to vote for it, before it takes,
Majority.
it takes 4 votes. But I understand. I mean, I own a home here. I don't want to pay more taxes. But I also understand this. The pathway forward for this school district is better schools. Excuse me, the pathway forward for this county is better schools. It takes funds. And yes, we need to be frugal with funds, and we need to take care of money. But I haven't been here but for 1 year. But our budget presentation was met with a spirit of cooperation that's been greater than the cooperation of the past. Mr. Hobbs, you've been on the board for a long time. Would you agree with that?
That's not saying that.
So to me, my struggle is, and I feel for those guys. One commissioner told me at one of the graduations this weekend, if they approved every request, they were looking at a $1 increase in property tax. And they said, we can't do that. You know, they did approve us 1.4 cents, which is going to cost a $200,000 property owner less than $8. And so I hate to, and yes, we did give them 2 cents back last year when they were in a bind, and that 2 cents last year was worth about $126,000. I just hate at a time when they seem supportive of what we're trying to accomplish, to not accept the 1.4 cents that places a very modest increase. I understand the resistance to increase. I get it. I understand that. I get that. I understand that. I understand your constituents. I don't know if your constituents know the modesty of the increase. I mean, it is a modest increase, $8 a year, which $8 is $8.
That's $8 for our budget. But then when you start adding all the other people's budgets in, it's gonna increase even more.
Well, I don't know that. I mean, they're over there meeting right now and what, I don't think everybody's gonna get their increase. That's what the county commissioner told me. They said, so some nonprofits are just going to have to do without an increase. But, they seem to be interested in the, well-being of the schools. And the fact that it was unanimous, I fielded some difficult questions. And, but they voted unanimously. It just seems, to me, it would be unfortunate if we couldn't accept their generosity.
Can we vote, if we'll Robert through the order for that vote again?
Right, back up.
Well, and Mr. Nash even said,
No,
he basically said to
no,
you,
we can,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Keith Nash said, he basically said, if our school grade gets better, I think that's gonna take care of the problem. And that's, and the reverse works also. If we don't get better, we're gonna lose even more students.
Yeah.
So we may have to spend a little money to get better, but we've got to get better. If not, we're gonna lose more and more students. We've got to get our grade better. That's just the bottom line.
Especially East Hickman, it's just geographically easier for those folks to go somewhere else.
Yeah, they're closer to,
They're just closer to those, they're just closer to Dixon and Fairview.
I'm not disagreeing with you guys on that.
Yeah.
I mean, county commission already pays almost $2.1 million more in maintenance of effort than they have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, right, and I think they know that, and I think that tells me that they see the need for the investment also.
I think the problem also is if you're looking at our budget this year, it's $39 million. $39 million. Okay, it's went up from last year.
Right.
I realize that everything is went up. I realize that. But I also realize that our population has went down. I also realize that the county commission can take away money from our maintenance of effort because our population is declining.
Right.
So where they gave us 5 million something right now, if they could drop that. They could drop it to whatever, I forgot how much it is. If it is per student, that they can drop it.
but they didn't drop it. They
They
chose,
didn't, but
they chose to give us a very small, modest increase, which to me, I believe that they consider that an investment. I think they realize,
They were concerned about it.
Yeah, I think-
They were really concerned. It got their attention that when Director Mullins give them the facts. And I don't know if they was fully aware of the facts.
well, most people who move here don't have school-aged children. Huh? They don't have most people that move here don't have, people that are relocating our county are retirees, or a lot of retirees.
Homeschool.
Yes, homeschool, yes, yes, there has been an influx of people who homeschool. Absolutely, absolutely. What was the question you asked about Robert's rules?
So what I was, can we vote again?
I think you can.
Yeah.
Let's see, I think it says,
I was just, their module on
that you can have
today.
a motion to reconsider if it's made on the same day the vote of the original motion was taken.
yeah, you're looking at a motion to reconsider.
Yeah.
Robert's Rules of Order, motion to reconsider. Are you looking?
Yeah, yeah.
What did it say?
It says a strict application of Robert's rules requires that a motion to reconsider to be made on the same day the vote of the original motion was taken.
Which is the same day.
Same out. I'll make a motion that we reconsider the 2024-25 budget for the Hickman County School District.
Second.
Have a motion by Doug Lane, second by Tim Hobbs. I'll read that back just so you got it correctly. please.
The motion is to reconsider the 24-25 budget for the Hickman County School District. Is that correct?
Sounds good. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hobbs?
Yes.
Mr. Hutchins?
And wait till the last.
You can. Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Ms. Mays?
Yes.
Ms. Baker?
No,
Mr. Gammon?
No.
And Mr. Hutchins?
I hesitate to vote. I haven't been here. I'm sorry. I'm late. I would just, you just been on yeah. But I mean, I don't think that's.
And we get, well,
Okay,
we have a discussion, we didn't.
we had discussion that you missed a lot of
Yeah, he had the right.
discussion on.
I missed a lot of discussion. I don't think I need to really vote on something this important without.
The,
Well, it's the same thing. we voted on.
we can, let's just make to,
This is a vote to
yeah,
reconsider.
this is just a vote to reconsider.
Right.
Oh, okay.
If you,
Yeah, I would
Which-
consider it, yeah.
yeah, it's a
Yes.
vote to reconsider.
Yes.
Okay.
Now to reconsider,
Well, now,
so
we do
the
all-
motion is how many in favor?
4
4.
4-2,
4 yay, 2 nay,
to reconsider.
to reconsider.
The people that absent are no votes, so.
Yes. I would-
That would
So
do,
4 to consider, 3 against.
so we need another motion and second to debate, for discussion again.
That would be appropriate, yeah. Motion,
Make a motion to approve the budget and then the
Yeah,
chair will
I was gonna
open
make
it
a
for
motion.
discussion.
Well, I make a motion to approve the budget.
I'll second.
141.
Tim Hobbs makes a motion to approve the
24,
budget.
Ms. May
Need a
second.
second?
Ms. May second.
Everybody else gets a second.
Yeah. I did, yes,
Ingrid and,
Yeah, and then we can-
second it. Now we'll have
discussion.
rediscussion again, okay? And since I have already stated mine, here you go, you can
You
read
can read
mine.
it.
I read it to them earlier.
Or two.
And, if you don't mind,
Oh, okay.
if you don't mind, Mike, would you
Okay.
tell us what you voted?
So in our original budget that was sent over, the maintenance of effort from the local is the same that they sent back. What they did, basically, we had $137,938 in property tax increase from what we sent over. They moved $80,169 of that into sales tax. And did the property tax by giving us a 1.34 cent increase. The property tax increase is $57,769 over prior year property tax budget estimate. And so they provided, from a maintenance of effort standpoint, everything that we asked for that you all approved. They just split it between sales tax, $80,169 increase, property tax, $57,769 increase.
The board, the last meeting that we had at Hickman County High School, Mr. Willis made a motion to approve the budget with the contingency that we would ask for 3 cents. And so we sent a budget to the county commission, the budget that we had worked on with a request for 3 cents. The 3 cents amounted to $137,000. So what the county commission did was they upped our property tax from 56.66 cents to 58 cents. They said they wanted to get out of dealing with fractional pennies. So it's 58. And so that increase will provide us 57,000 extra dollars. We had budgeted our sales tax conservatively because like Ms. May said, you never know, the sales tax is impacted by the economy. So you have to budget sales tax conservatively, but they moved $80,000. They increased our sales tax, as they use 80,000 of sales tax that we're going to receive anyway. by Tennessee law, we get 50% of the sales tax. But they closed the gap on our sales tax by increasing $80,000 to use that for maintenance of effort. So they gave us $137,000 additional maintenance of effort. And they did it unanimously. They voted 14-0 to do that, which I was pleased that they would do that unanimously. And then tonight, Mr. Gammons, he is worried about increasing people's property
So,
taxes.
Ms. Baker, and I respect y'all, and I want you to know that, I respect your opinion on that.
The document that I based mine on, I was told that, there's one since then, which is the TISA, the March, FY25 TISA preliminary estimates that, are here, so, and the maintenance of effort and all that. And since then, during this meeting, they presented, and do you have a copy of this April, preliminary estimate?
He does.
You have, which, changes the numbers some, but one of my, I'll just quickly highlight, the statement that I read there. They basically have lost, 213 students since April of, 23 till current, which at a funding rate of $7,075 per TISA base, that equals about $1.5 million. It's the numbers there. Of course, the numbers are continually changing with TISA until the end of the year, but I'm against anything that's going to, the reoccurring fees that you're going to put in the budget, reoccurring cost. I'm afraid that in 2 or 3 years, that's gonna leave a problem for whoever's left over with the board. We're supposed to be looking ahead also, and, I stated that in the document if you want to read it there, but, with a decrease in students, that means they could reduce the maintenance of effort and all, and drop in enrollment, which the drop in enrollment is pretty obvious from last year to this year, and hopefully it will not. And as Doug pointed out, he says that it will not affect it until next year, but it is in the TISA data that we're going to get funded for 24 and 25.
I thought about, okay.
I was gonna say this, Mr. Gaines.
Yes.
We have been, from the very beginning, transparent about the detrimental effects of declining enrollment. I mean, we shared that with the board all throughout the year. We said we're gonna face a difficult budget year because of the AWARE grant is running out, the ESSER funds are ending, but the main thing, our biggest challenge is declining enrollment. I mean, that's 1.5 billion. That's
A big chunk.
It is a big chunk. And yes, the county commission can decrease your maintenance of effort during periods of declining enrollment, but they didn't. They voted unanimously to give us a small, modest increase.
Well, I am not obligated to the.
No, you're not.
Commission. I am obligated to my constituents out there. And yes,
But you're making the case that they could, it sounds like, well, I'm listening to you, Ron, Chairman.
well, I'm just,
That you're saying that money, they're gonna take this money that they voted to give us for this next budget, and they're gonna remove it this year.
I said, however, if there is no decrease next year, the option may not be used
Right.
because of that. So,
But
I'm
I'm
just,
saying, hypothetically, like, it sounds like we're conveying to.
it's not hypothetical when you got the real numbers.
But it's hypothetical whether they're taking out, let me finish. It's hypothetical to say that they might take it out of this year, take it back from us.
This was,
So this budget, what we vote on tonight, it is the budget, and they voted on it. So you're not saying the county commission is gonna strike a vote in the middle of this school year and say, hey, we want $2 million.
oh no, they can't do it then.
Okay, I know it. And so,
Now, that's why that I'm back to that it's my responsibility and yours as the board, I mean, to look at the long-term effects
I agree with you.
of engaging into something that might, and which we're dipping in on a regular basis. Even Vance said it the last meeting, that we may dip into it, and at some point in time, it is going to affect us dramatically for getting too deep into the general fund.
But the basis of all this money that we're having to ask this budget, the largest amount is these mandated raises by the state.
Yeah.
Mandated raise for this year was only like $100 and some odd.
But last year we voted to give a bigger raise.
How much,
Last
give
year.
4%, how much?
$800,000.
What you gotta remember is that 6% that we added last year, we're still paying it. So it's like 10% this year. You
Right.
said-
I'm not saying anything
Yeah,
like
but you said, but I'm just
the
saying,
mandated for this year, that amount that had to go up.
it's $800,000.
Yeah, it's roughly $200,000 per 1%.
Yeah.
Well, that right, Mr. Mayor?
It's $800,000 per state.
I mean, that's.
Sure. Is that 1% is $200,000. We give 6 last year, maybe 7. You're talking about $2 million in this budget that can't cause 1.2 million that carried over from last year. It's still there. This 2 million that we go, it's like, and then time we get to 50,000 for these entry level teachers.
You're gonna have to keep.
How much are we dipping into the reserve fund, Mike?
You're gonna have to keep going.
We're estimating
That's what I'm saying. It's gotta be, we have no choice.
And if we don't, state's going
This year?
to set the regulation.
Like
Well,
this
I
past
know we-
last year's budget.
It depends on when you talk about the
Yeah,
estimated, we
I'm
estimated,
estimating somewhere between 600 and 1.1. Crystal is estimating right at 1.1 for FY '24.
okay, let's say you just go with 1 million. And when will we run out of reserve funds at that? Without dipping past what the state wants us to?
If
4 years?
But we're
If
going,
you continue on the same process and revenues stay at the same level.
And enrollment
And
doesn't
enrollment doesn't.
change.
Yeah.
But from the standpoint of how the administration has been operating, it's to look at those areas where we can, from an employee standpoint, and this isn't any different than what we've done in the past either, but it's just understanding that the ESSER is going away, the need to continue some programs that come in during that time, not because of the ESSER, but the efficiency in dealing with personnel. The administration understands the responsibility and what needs to be done in that. There's a big question on enrollment numbers. What, can you all see what's on the screen?
What's up, is it, we got on the page?
No, this is what TISA July 2024 or 2023 was our final estimate. It was no longer an estimate. It was what we were going to get for TISA for FY '24. The enrollment number that is on there at the top is 3,015.94.
Yeah.
The current estimate that you have, that we have received so far in April and will receive, and by the way, the reason this was not included is because documents have to be uploaded 5 days before. We received this the morning of the board meeting.
That's right. I forgot
We
about that.
can't upload things after. But we did include the amount in the budget and told you all about the amount in the budget. But you will see that this estimate on students enrollment as of April is 2948.11. So roughly, if you guys can do the math real quick, because my brain is
60 students. It's 60.
That's what you
Now,
said, that's what you said the other day.
Yeah, and what that's going, but what they have been, the reason they work through these estimates is things have to be properly coded. In RSIS, along with the start date for kids and all of their other codings. The state also switched over to a new software system during this year. And the March estimates and the February estimates, they knew were going to be low, but not to what extent, they weren't sure. And they're continuing to allow us to make sure that the information we have and that what is being uploaded to them, and that does not just include normal enrollment, it includes economically disadvantaged codings, concentrated poverty, which that is not a coding that's in the system, that's based off of statistical data. But all of that sped, that includes what work has been completed and uploaded into the system, which goes all the way through the end of June. And that's how those qualifications and those dollars are in there. And why they are trying to make sure there's about 4 different systems that they pull student numbers from. Okay?
Especially in career tech.
And so those numbers, and in them changing systems this year, initially caused some numbers to be down. I think if you go in and look at economically disadvantaged from March, I know from the February estimate, it was extremely down. And that was some coding issues that their system had not picked up on like 80 of our kids who were economically disadvantaged.
Just because of the reporting, which it states in the document.
But it was on, our reporting was correct. Their system was not picking it up.
They
While
said,
and I went back and
they
looked.
said in the documents that I got that it
Right.
can continue to change
And
as
it will
they
still
get refined.
change all the way up through July, but the July one will be the final one.
And then,
Regardless of whether, if we don't have the data in correctly, which we do, but if we were not, you sit with that July one. That's why starting in January, they start sending out monthly estimates at the first of the month and ask us to double check everything. And we go through 9 spreadsheets with our supervisors, with our student information system person here at the central office. She communicates to the people at the schools, making sure all those codes are correct. But the reason I brought up the July of last year, that's your number of enrollment that we were getting paid for this year based off of the end of last year enrollment. This is the current enrollment as of April that they have in the system. So you're roughly a little
Enrollment or
bit
attendance?
60 students different.
60.
Yeah, and
Not
we,
too sure.
at one point, we gave you I think it was handwritten by me. It said 60 students times $7,075, and it came out to be 400.
420 or 30,000.
Yeah. I mean,
And so,
Mr. Gammons, I understand, I agree. Oh, Mr. Gammons, I agree with you that we should have a long-term perspective of the budget, but also we should have a short-term perspective. And the short-term perspective is to provide for our students and our teachers the best budget that we can provide for them next year. There has to be a long-term concern because of the fact that we are going into our reserves. But we have to kind of balance those two. And just like this, I understand that you are representing your constituents, but you also are representing what's best for the school system. We were able to get through this difficult budget process without cutting any programs. And we felt like that was a good thing that we didn't cut programs. And
we're asking more of our teachers. We're going to 6 periods.
yeah, we are asking more of our teachers and
we need to, and I think,
but I don't know if you were here when I said this, Mr. Hudgens, the 1.34 cents that the county commission, and that's not final. because when we spoke to the county commission, they were using the same concept that we used this year to do the budget. That was their budget committee. Yes, all county commissioners were there, but that was their budget committee. So they could, in the final actions of the county commission, it could change what the budget committee approved last week. But,
They could take it all and put it in sales tax if they wanted to.
yes.
And all they're doing is, they're not really giving it to us, they're just putting it in an estimate.
Well, they gave us $57,000 increase in property tax. But here's what I don't know if you were here when I said this. A $200,000 property, which would be pretty close to the median property in Hickman County, it's gonna cost that person, less than $8 a year in property tax. I don't know if you were here when I said that.
For the school bar, insurance,
Yeah, for the scoop bar.
right, for the school bar.
Yeah.
I know they have pressures, they had inflationary pressures on them last year.
They do, but
Sure.
it's gotten worse this year.
Yeah.
Inflation has gotten worse
It
this year.
has.
and it's-
Oh, yeah.
It's probably gonna get worse.
And you got inflationary wage pressures too.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are not even getting raises in their jobs.
Well, the county has got,
But we have no choice.
all departments have asked for a raise over there. You know, they've already asked for a raise. So I don't know how they're gonna treat that. They've asked for a whole lot of things that they want done.
Sheriff's
You know.
Department asked for a 10% raise.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a lot,
10%.
it's a lot of, they got a lot of job work done.
Jim, that catches you up, I think, pretty well.
I think so. I've seen concerns everybody else has.
So,
I know what if we're ready to vote, I'm ready to vote, but it's not an easy vote.
ready for the question, anybody? Okay, the question? So, roll call vote?
Someone's got to make a motion.
No, it's over.
Oh, we made a motion to.
Reconsider. Did we do the same? I don't know.
We make the motion to reconsider,
We
right?
had motion to reconsider with a 4 yes,
Yeah, we did.
two nay, one that's not here,
And then-
and that went through. And then we now have a motion on the floor to approve the 24,
Yeah.
25
Right.
budget
You're right.
with a, motion made by Mr. Hobbs
You're right.
and a second by Ms. Mays.
That's what I
I'm
thought.
correct on that. Is
That's what I
that
thought.
correct?
Okay, so,
Roll call.
roll call vote.
Ms. Mays,
Yes.
Mr. Lane,
Yes.
Mr. Hudgens,
Yes.
Mr. Hobbs,
Yes.
Mr. Gammon,
No,
Ms. Baker.
No,
That's 4 yea, 2 nay, and 1 absent.
4-3. Motion carries.
Does a person who's absent vote count as no?
Yes.
That's fine. It's if somebody's got something they want to vote on, it's very important they be there, or the whole thing gets postponed till the next meeting, or
Whatever.
rescheduled, whatever, so. Okay, so
Anybody else, Mr. Chairman?
I don't have anything unless somebody has something, the next thing is the board meeting, so.
We'll have to wait and see what happens. Fine.
Now,
You have to be back here again.
you talked to them last, you were over there, did they want it brought over and
We-
let them know?
Mr. Elkins, made arrangements with, is it Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
Miss Fitzgerald, that we would text her the outcome of our meeting, and she said that would be okay. Cause they weren't gonna start on the school part.
Until later, right?
Yes.
And ultimately, what they